I freaking got floated to freaking med-surg, and I wanted to freaking die. So basically, I'm at this place where I am in one unit, but because we're so fully staffed and med-surg has such a high turnover rate, it's always agencies and travel nurses going into this unit. So they'll pull from our unit. So I got pulled, and yeah, that was not fun. Started with 6, discharged 1 that gave us 5, and then gave us an admission that brought us back to 6, and then we ended up getting 3 discharges. So we had 3 patients until like 6:45, because PACU, they just love to send up patients right at shift change, so they won't get any. We know how that works. And we ended up with 4 basically. But yeah, that was awful. This one guy, we had to cover his calcium like 6 bags every hour. Awful. And he was like retaining fluid, so I had to straight cath it. I was like putting in Foley, straight cathing. I wasn't just sitting there doing nothing. Like I was saying, the PACU, they like sent their patient at 6:45 because they didn't want to have like anyone else. That nurse probably didn't want to have an admission. So I mean, when you're a nurse, like what's up. And so she was telling that they took out the Foley at like 4, and she has 400 now. Well, what are you going to do about that? So she ended up not straight cathing the patient. So she came up with like a bladder with 400 milliliters of like urine. But we looked at the chart for the PACU. PACU has like a paper where they do check-off list with a surgeon and stuff like that post-surgery. And she took the Foley out. They took the Foley out at 2. And I'm like, obviously, because how is your bladder going to hold or accumulate 400 milliliters of urine in 2 hours? Like, you like lied because you didn't want to straight catheter. Like, and the patient came up like moaning and groaning of pain. Like, obviously, because like you can't pee, Oh my God. The one patient that we had, he was homeless, and he got stabbed, and he had stab wounds, and he was assaulted. It was so freaking crazy. So it was just really stressful because like I don't know where anything is, and like for me, I'm like thinking, how am I supposed to do all of this? Half of the staff is like agency or travel because they can't keep their full-time staff because it's so stressful there. Another thing that's like stressful about this unit is like where my home unit is, like we have one medical director, and I can text him about anything, and then one internal med doctor basically for the whole floor. But for the med-surg unit, like there's like 500 doctors, and you're supposed to like figure out like who is like taking care of the patient, and like it's like so stressful to have to deal with that, and I don't know how I'm supposed to do this like by myself. And I even talked to like one of the head honchos came up to me, and she was like, oh, hey George, like your nurse manager said that you were gonna float today, like I wanted to make sure you were doing okay. Like I told her like, yeah, it's like really stressful and blah blah blah, but like I don't know, it felt like it went in one ear and out the other, which I'm not surprised about, because management, like they just don't have your back. They're there for the bottom line, which is the dollar. So it's like we're all expendable. That's how I feel. And I've never really met management that I felt like I could have trust, So it's just, they just care about the money. So they're more willing to like fire or get rid of the staff that has been there for so long, and let them leave knowing that they're really good at what they do, and instead just get new grads or like new nurses and pay them lower rates, so that's really sad. But I hit up my freaking friend who I used to work with, and she's like working remote for like an insurance company, but like you have to be a nurse to do it. I don't know. The pay was really good, and I was like, girl, like please, like I need to get out of here. And so she texted me some information, and can apply because, like, I'm over bedside. The place where I am right now, like, it's not as terrible as, like, I'm starting to get used to it. So it's like, and like my coworkers are super chill. Like, we have a great team on my home unit, but I don't want to float, and I don't want to have to, like, you know, deal with repercussions of, like, you know, not taking care of my patient well because I was so, you know, stressed out, or we were understaffed, you know, and things that I can't control. That, you know, your med-surg unit is understaffed because you can't keep your nurses. Like, it's not fair that we all have to float there all the time. Like, that's not our problem. Staff your unit. My home unit, like, we don't push morphine or Dilaudid. We have through IVs because, like, basically there was a point where ER was, like, overflowing, so they just had to get their patients out. So they came to our unit, and the unit med-surg where I was today, we were literally just pushing Dilaudid. It was like pain meds around the clock. And the one doctor, he was like, we told him that the patient who takes morphine extended release at home, like, he needs something for pain. So we asked the doctor, and he gave us a one-time order. And I'm like, I'm just letting you know he's gonna probably want, like, more later on. And the doctor was like, don't worry about it. I'm like, I hate doctors who, like, don't listen to their nurses and are just, like, have that, like, ego complex. It's like, dude, like, you're not with the patient for more than 15 minutes, if that. So, like, pay attention to the nurse, you know? Like, I hate doctors who just think that, like, they're so much better than the nurses. It's like, it says a lot about a doctor. Oh, and side note, like, a lot of the my other coworkers were, like, right next to, my home unit is next to med-surg. So, like, a lot of my coworkers were passing through, and, like, the nurse practitioner and the therapist, and they were like, oh, hey, George, you're here, you got floated, like, it's good to see you, though, like, you're in the wrong place. And, like, at the end of the day, my med-surg coworker was like, I just felt like I was with a famous person today. Like, everyone was like, oh, hey, George this, hey, George that. And, like, I felt like I was with a celebrity. I was like, honey, if you only knew, I have 100, so far, 158 YouTube subscribers, okay? So you don't even know. This singer, songwriter, YouTuber, philanthropist, the list goes on, bitch. Also, big ups to the freaking med-surg nurses, because I don't know how you guys do that shit. Crazy. Like, I could never be a med-surg nurse. That's just not my specialty. That's not who I am. That's not my ethos. That's not my aesthetic. I don't know how they do it, but they are a special breed, honey, and kudos to them, because better them than me. So I don't know how they do it, but big ups to the freaking med-surg nurses of the world. And you know what? My dad was a freaking med-surg nurse at the same hospital for, I want to say, like 30 years before he passed. And I just appreciate him even more for having to deal with med-surg for that long. Like, that's so crazy to me. Like, damn, that's wild. But I will see you guys soon. I need a vacation, I need a break, and honestly, I need a new freaking job. But that's beyond this whole conversation. So I'll talk to you guys later, and be safe. Bye, guys.